All right, we're day 3 on the GT Aggressor Pro. Picked it up at Dick's for $2.99. Couldn't pass the deal, so I figured I'd give it a try. 39 miles in at this point, just got back from a ride, and it's been good for in stock form. The only thing I don't like and don't need is the 3 chain rings up front, so I'm going to go to a single. Just got back, and Amazon had dropped off IXF cranks, and a hollow bottom bracket, and a 34 tooth oval chain ring, so I'm going to put that on, hopefully, and go from there, see what that does. Like I said, we're 39 miles in. The only thing I've done is change the rear tube, and it's been a pretty good bike so far, especially for a box store bike. Hoping this thing goes, kind of do a build series, maybe like box store, to see how good we can get it. So I've been a mechanic my whole life, literally. That's what I've done for a profession. I have hammered many things off of shafts like this bottom bracket, and I thought for sure, I've never done it. I've done a ton of BMX bikes, but I've never done a mountain bike, and I thought, I can take the bolt out of it and hit it with a hammer, it's gonna come off, wiggle it. It does not. Fortunately, Walmart has, because it's Sunday on Memorial Day weekend, so no bike shops are open. But Walmart has this kit by Ozark Trail for 30 bucks. And it has everything, literally. I bought this bottom bracket wrench off Amazon, which I'll keep. I'm sure with the adapter it'll be useful. But it has bottom bracket sockets, and it has a crank puller. But for 30 bucks, there's a ton of stuff in here. So yeah, moral of the story, you cannot hit them with a hammer and get them off. This is a brand new bike, 30 miles in. So if you're watching this and you're thinking about doing this, 30 bucks at Walmart gets you what you need. So that was way harder than I feel like it had to be. Again, brand new bike. And that thing was tight. I had to put a wrench and a wrench extender on this tool to get that crank arm off there. But it did come off. Now again, I'm like 39 miles on this bike. Frame's pretty beat from that chain, so I'm gonna have to do something about that. But anyway, again, $299 bike, so not mad. Another piece of advice, keep in mind, first time doing this, take the not powered side off at first so that the chain can stay on and hold. I had to hold the pedal to push against, and again, with the wrench and the extender, you can put some power to it. So take the other side off first, that's my suggestion. All right, so stock bottom brackets are out. Once I got the crank arms off, the bottom brackets came out pretty simply. Now I have to put these sealed bearing units in for that hollow bottom bracket. And there are spacers, so I'm gonna do a little research, see which side goes where. All right, so after getting frustrated with putting that bottom bracket and crank arms in, I forgot to hit record on the final install there. But anyway, my tip, if you're like me and this is your first time doing it, let's just start with how I got to this point. My good friend and his son ride a ton. My son rides with them. They ride dirt bikes together, and my kid's really into this Stasic. And we did a mountain bike loop that we can literally ride from our house to do, and it was a ton of fun. I borrowed one of his bikes, and I'm like, man, I need a good mountain bike. But I didn't want to spend a ton of money. We're right in the middle of racing season for my kid, and I'm purging money to that. So I thought about, trying to get into this with a decent bike as cheaply as possible before I go. I never dipped my toe in, and I didn't want to cannonball this one until I make sure I'm going to do it. So I rode my junk bike for a week, 2 weeks straight, every night to prove to myself that I would ride it. And as I did, I was Googling like cheap, decent mountain bikes. At the same time, I was watching a ton of YouTube videos, and I found between Google and YouTube the GT Aggressor Pro, which was a Dick's Sporting Goods bike. On Dick's website, they were like $7.99 down to $5.99 when I first looked a couple weeks ago. Then they dropped to $4.99 and $3.99, and now it's Memorial Day weekend, so Friday at midnight, or Thursday at midnight, they went to $2.99, and they had one cement gray one left, so I thought, you know what, I'm gonna grab it. For $2.99, I can't beat it. So at any rate, that's how we got to where we're at. I bought it for $2.99, rode 39 miles on it between Friday picking it up, Saturday, and today's Sunday. We did the loop a couple times with my kid with the stay sick, and it's been a ton of fun. Now, as expected, the shock is pretty crap, but it's not terrible for, again, a $299 bike. Did have to put a rear tube in it, not the bike's fault, got a thorn. But today after our ride, I think we went 7 miles today on the first ride. I ended up riding 10 miles today on this bike, but after the first ride, I got home and Amazon had dropped off the cranks and bottom bracket and oval chainring. There was a ton of mess up here with this, with the front derailleur for the front, the 3-piece chain, or the 3 chain rings. The chain had derailed a few times, and like I said, we're like, at this point, I think 42 miles total in, and my frame's beat to death from the chain jumping off. But anyway, first time install, back to where we're at, first time install for a mountain bike on a bottom bracket. I got the hollow cranks assembly and bottom bracket sealed unit. Went together really easy. The only thing at first I tried to put that chain wheel on the cranks on the bike, which was a mistake. I just was hoping to eyeball it up to make sure that I needed to be on the back side of that crank flange, not the front side. Seems like the back side lines up the best for that 8-piece in the rear. Anyway, took it back off, got everything tightened up. I went for a couple miles this evening on the road just to try it out. Everything worked well. The 40 miles to this point that I have on it, I was only ever on that middle sprocket up front, which was 34 teeth. That's how I made that decision. The reason I went with oval was Wolf Tick videos. He talks about it. He has one of these. He had a build series that's great. Learned a ton from that. It honestly gave me the confidence to buy this bike after seeing what he put it through. But yeah, that's why I went with the oval. The ride tonight on the road was not anything that was going to tell me if that oval chainring was the way to go or not. But at any rate, I guess we'll see. And at $10 a piece, I don't mind. If it's not right, or if I don't like it, I'll just go with a round one. The only thing I wish I would have done was ordered pedals at the same time, because these stock GT plastic ones are absolute scrap. But that's for another time. The other thing a lot of people were complaining about online with these Aggressors was the stock grips. I think they're great. I ordered lock-on grips, but I'm going to stick with these till they wear out because they're really comfortable. But that's where we're at, 40 miles in. Goal of 1,000 miles this year. If I can do that, I can justify buying a better bike. But at this point, this is what we're going with.